Hey guys, Matt Dieterich here, and thanks for joining me on today's astrophotography video. If you're new to this channel, feel free to subscribe because I'll keep you up to date with some pretty fun telescope installation videos, but also astrophotography tutorials. Now on today's video, I'm going to go through and talk about filters for astrophotography, and specifically nightscape astrophotography, because in this tutorial I've been searching for over a year to find a filter that allows me to enhance airglow, which is just the natural glow of the upper atmosphere, which typically is a beautiful red or green. So I wanted a filter to help enhance that, and thus far I hadn't been able to find one until now, which was the NiSi natural night filter, and I was using it on my Sony a7 IV, and I also have a Sony a7S III, and both of those cameras I have are modified for astrophotography, so they let in a little bit extra of that hydrogen alpha wavelength. Now when I was shooting with those Sony bodies down in Chile, I immediately noticed that it increased the airglow in the night sky while also helping reduce any faint glow of city lights in the distance, which is exactly what I would hope the filter would do, especially on the light pollution front. But what I didn't realize is what it was going to help do in terms of just helping the airglow stand out just a little bit more, which I'll show some examples for when we actually jump into Photoshop here. But to dive into the equipment itself, we have the NiSi V7 holder, and that allows me to use the 100mm filters. And especially with my Sony 14mm lens, that's pretty cool because the filter doesn't vignette, and typically you would need larger filters for 14mm lenses, but they have an adapter that goes right on to the face of the camera, and then you just tighten it down on the lens, and that allows me to mount the 100mm filters right in front. And of course you can rotate, but nice design. It's something compact for me in the field, and then with the little knob you can just pop it right off and pop it right back on. So for me, it's been a pretty good system to run with because, like I mentioned, I've been trying to find something to keep airglow natural and actually help enhance it, which there's a lot of filters on the market, but this is one that I found that is doing just the trick of making that airglow pop, because I want to try to keep it as natural and as beautiful as possible with showcasing the night sky away from city lights, which is where you need to be to really see airglow. This is all it takes, is just 100 by 100mm square filter, and that's the natural night. So off the bat you kind of see it's got kind of a little purplish hue, but it's really helping block the sodium vapor lights that you get in typical cities. And for me, that is also helpful, surprisingly, from dark night skies such as Chile, where you really don't have many city lights to deal with. But to quickly toss on the filter, it just slides into the front, tossing it on a 14mm lens. And for this example, I kind of did a before and after, so all I had to do was slide off the filter holder itself, and then I slide it back on, and you can lock it to make sure it's not going to go anywhere. But it's pretty nice to not have any vignetting and use smaller filters because they're less expensive as well, so that helps. But that kind of goes through the quick setup on how to run this little filter. Just like any other front mounted filters, it's not that difficult to set up, but pretty good design. And you can also mount other filters in front as well. They have 3 slots for different filters if you guys like doing landscape, typical daytime photography, where you might want to stack ND filters for pretty cool long exposure effect. Let's go ahead and jump in and actually show you guys some before and after images that I shot in Chile, because I'm pretty happy with how those images turned out with this filter. Alright, now that we're in Photoshop, I just wanted to show you guys what the exact raw files look like straight out of the camera, no edits at all, without the filter, which is seen right here. Obviously, nice beautiful night sky. There's a little bit of light pollution below this mountaintop here, but an overall pleasant image, just for this example with the Milky Way over that observatory. Now next, this one is with the filter installed, so you can immediately see, number one, the image is darker. I noticed that. It seems like it's at least half a stop darker, but also you start having this kind of magenta cast. But remember, I am using a modified camera, so what that means is the original photo, this one, I was using a daylight white balance, so because I put on a filter in front, my white balance was already thrown off. But in editing, that's something I can easily clean up. But before and after, you can immediately see that the light pollution on the before photo is still brighter than, of course, the light pollution on the after. So it did help that. But let's go ahead and look at a quick edit before and after of just changing the color balance and darkening the sky a little bit to make it pop. On both photos, I just did a reduction in the darks and I added a little bit of color via saturation and vibrance. So the goal was to make sure the color balance between the before and after photos were the exact same. So to give you an example, the airglow I noticed in the after photo is standing out more. That was what I really noticed, and you could see the light pollution being reduced if I go and blink between the two. It's subtle, but for me, with wanting to make that airglow stand out more, that was something that was really neat, because in Chile you have a lot of red airglow in the night sky. It's just common in the southern hemisphere. In northern hemisphere shooters, you typically see green airglow. So it was pretty cool to be able to see that the red airglow was just popping a little bit more with the filter. And for me, that's the exact method that I want to utilize when doing my astrophotography, is keeping the night sky color balanced to reveal that cool airglow in the night sky. Guys, I hope you found this video helpful, but I know I am excited that I finally found a filter, especially front mounted, being in the size of 100 by 100 millimeters for my Sony lens here for nightscapes. And as a result, seeing that pop in airglow down in Chile with this camera and of course that filter really helped. So I'm gonna keep using it when I shoot some of my panoramas. But as always, guys, let me know if you have any questions on astrophotography. But I hope you guys get out there under the night sky, clear skies, and we'll see you next time.